My name is Not So Hot, and I am the younger brother of Frankly Hot. I believe Frankly already had posted here, recounting the events that endured during the events of the Clubhouse Doomsday Project, so I won't bore you to death. But I will just let you know that I'm a typical British high school student who loves to play video games, get high, and eats pizza with my feet instead of my friends. Anyway, several months back, my brother frankly got involved with a problem involving a supposed lost episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. He is currently living with the Shadow Reader in his house of the hills of Yorkshire at the Antipesto, who once hid back when they were trying to be hunted down by Lord Victor Quartermind and Mr. Crittry. Now that I stated earlier, I love video games. I mean, really love. Like a gentleman I like to play and love them too. I had gone from dates from them, or at least to sort of Mr. Krabs. In case if you're wondering, my favorite video game of all time would definitely have to be Resident Evil 4. If you haven't played it yet, I am not going to bother telling you the story or anything. Yeah, because of the offer of the story, I can do what I like. I will, however, tell you one time at school that I shat in my pants after getting laxatives spiked into my Witty Sunshine biscuits. Anyways, as I was saying, I love Resident Evil 4, and I have it on a mighty old PlayStation 2. That wasn't until a man named Glancy Drown came to take it away, due to me being behind on my payments again. You see, I had been living with my Franklin in his flat Bristol, and had been using the money from his job as a hitman for a Fuskin and crime family to pay the bills. With him gone, I was then forced to get a dead end the subway, just like some sort of odd one is out. So Drown took the game as well as a few other items, including my sofa, rude carrot onion. Yep, frankly, that was the joke back. Happy Shadow? I should mention that Drown was working for Granny Dresspen's gang, although it was secretly informed that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, he had took the game along with my other stuff, and it was private locked up down in Atlantic, due where Vincent Quinn so chilly once told made fish and chips for Tony me under the fireplace, in which disguised as disgusted Sal the Pal. Desperate to find another copy, and far too lazy to look on Amazon or eBay for one. I mean, why do I look for something new like that, right? Well, there would be no story if I had one at that. So instead I borrowed a copy of the video game from a friend of mine at school named Richard Fatchud. He had lent me a PS4 remastered version of the game, so I would probably mention that I forget Fatchud is a proper fat. I mean, no joke. Literally, he's about 69 chins and wears a three-piece suit all the time, even in the summertime, when the weather is fine. Once the former head teacher, Greg Blakeman, had told him to take it off, Fatchud then said to Greg, "No pro, man, I'm a Ninja Turtle here," before walking off into the sunset while his love was in the air, being played in the background. I apologize for that incredibly long tangent back at the tail of the hand. So that day after school, I practically flew off the bus and stunk of smelly farts and wee, and headed straight to my flat and then slammed the disc right into my frankly PS4 and waited for the game to load up. There was no Capcom logos, which is odd, and then there was a logo for Rap Rat Cheese Incorporated, which Rap Rat's face taking up the whole screen. My TV is the size of Empire State's Building, which made it even more terrifying. I took a crap in the trash can and calmed down the pain because I had eaten a lot of cheese at school. That day, when Resident Evil 4 title screen came on appear, it looked normal. I clicked on New Game, and it looked like the difficulty settings. There was easy, normal, and professional. As normal, but there was an extra difficulty entitled Extra Cheesy. I was very curious to say the least, so I decided that I would try it out. Big mistake. The guy who normally says Resident Evil 4 after you click on the difficulty you want to play the game on sounded like Betty White. The intro then of the game was different. For starters, the two cops driving Leon down to the village, it looked really smelly and couldn't move or drive for a dog poop. They kept crashing into trees and crap. When they got to the village, one of the cops said to Leon, "If I wasn't married, I wouldn't be married." Leon got out of the car and headed towards the first house, where he got attacked by a Gano as normal. However, the cutscene then which shows Gano's truck ramming into the cops, causing them to fall on their deaths, and not showing a brief clip of what's being shown on Al and the monkeys drinking tea. Oh, monkey, what makes PG so great? Al then asked the monkey as reply with, "Oh, you know, Oliver Twist is my favorite book, written by Smelly Rat none other than Charles Dickens." I shat into the garbage can yet again. After the clip ended, Leon got a call from Ingrid Hannigan again, but it wasn't her, that it was Robin the Green Duck, who loves the digital style. "Hello?" Leon asked, which Robin replies with, "Yes. If there was some way to learn more information about this." Leon then said his lines as normal, even though Robin never responded correctly to his questions. Anyways, I made my way towards the village, and the game seemed to have gotten back to normal for the most part. However, there were no Garandones whatsoever. On the way up to the village, even the villagers at the point who yell at you from the cliff that you were gone, Leon was not about to wear in his distinctive jacket. It was instead wearing a disturbing Shrek Halloween costume. Also, there was no typewriters or items to be picked up anywhere. So when I got to the village, but there was no call by Hannigan, and it always was. I got Leon inside the house, where Dr. Savalier cutscenes began to play and weirder things began to happen. Well, Dr. Savalier didn't exactly appear. Instead, he was replaced by Willie the Giant, who proclaimed, "I want my chicken back, Donald Duck." He then crashed into the house, causing it to topple over. Leon manages to escape, and I made him climb up the bell tower. At the top of the bell tower, Leon got thrown out by Dr. Duncan and his grand army of turtle duffs. Just then, as Leon was about to die, the toilet duck appeared in the scene with a massive stink, which had legs for some reason. His bath was picked up by Leon, and of course, the duck rode it with him into the sunset. They crashed and landed outside the house, and they met Louis Sierra for the first time. And Leon and Duck bit themselves on an emotional goodbye, despite only knowing each other for like 5.5 seconds. Nevertheless, the scene was almost emotional. It made me want to sob it to the point about filling my entire room up with water. I could breathe underwater, so there wasn't a problem like that, I suppose. Leon made his way over to the cupboard and opened it. Louis fell onto the floor, and the cutscene played until "Perfect the big cheese," Louis said, as a block of cheese with muscular legs appeared on the scene. Leon his eyes turned into blocks of cheese, and he was attempted to eat the big cheese, only to get knocked out by the rational moves of Michael Bubble and his professional assistant, Father Jessup, who had a real hard-on for my local bishop. Suddenly, the game did a major time skip, and it skipped all the way to Chapter 3-1, where you're confronted by a random Salister, the main lobby of the castle. Salister looked older than usual, and then looked like he needed a bag of chips like Ollie the cat did for all those years ago. When phones were orange and my butt was steaming like a clam, sorry, I mean hams, because that's all I could call burgers. Anyway, this story is really weird, isn't it? Don't worry, you're doing well. I'm so proud of you, dear reader. Thankfully, Ashley, for some reason, wasn't present during this chapter, even though she was a sessional part to this chapter, but she was not present. I felt the grader like normal, and just as I was about to walk into the water room, the game once again did a major time skip where Shazar, right-hand man, chases you in the castle catacombs. The right-hand man was Mr. Krabs, and he began working towards Leon. Thankfully, the elevator started working again, and I was able to get to the mines, or I would have been had the game not done yet again by another random time skip. It skipped to the part where Salazar tells about the ritual which Ashley is undergoing on the top of the tower. Leon throws a knife on Shazlar's hand and says, "Oh, sugar honey iced tea." The Shadow Reader's face then appeared on the screen and sang, "Whoever meets the fall gets the pole." Then it skipped to Chapter 5-2. Thankfully, this would be the unnecessary skip. I was at the part where you would be confronted by the Iron Maidens, and they were been drawn on by Disney animation, which was odd. So when they got close to Leon, they didn't attack him. Instead, they just made him a cup of tea into a Mickey Mouse cup, which stank of cheese and vinegar. You'll find underneath the bus stop in the deepest parts of town. During the part with the bulldozer, because Ashley was not present still, I had to walk my way past the part where you get confronted by Lord Osmond Sadler in his living room. Sadler was dressed in a drag queen outfit and said, "Sup, homie, where's the rest of my eggs?" "Go away," Leon said, as weird music then playing in the background. Sadler then ate some disgusting-looking soup and turned on Mario Kart 8 before disappearing back into the shadows. Chapter 5-3 began like normal, however, the cutscene with Jack Kreiser and Ida Ron, Ida was not present, and Kreiser was talking to the wall, and it acted like it was talking back to him. He was also wearing a streak on his head. The fight was too smelly, as Kreiser then kept humping Leon because he had a thing for wallpaper cushions. Following the fight with Kessler, I fought It, but it was actually Pennywise from the original TV It movie, not the 2017 remake, which that one sucks. Yeah, bite me. No, really bite me. I like it when you do that. I'm a weird guy. Time for me to take my meds. Ha, only joking when I say that, or I really have. Anyways, Leon then had a boss fight with Cruiser, who was still wearing that steak that I was only doing terribly. I kept dying because Cruiser, for some reason, was faster than the speed of light. His attacks did the same amount of damage. Just as I was about to die for the 69th time in a row, Father Ted's face appeared in the sky and he yelled, "I said get the guitar!" This caused Cruiser to blow up into a million bite-sized Squidward pieces, and thus enabled Leon to get the last piece of the puzzle, which got him out of the arena. We're still waiting for chapters 5-4 to load up yet again. Another brief clip played, but this time it was different. It had a group of men having a conference in someone's office. A few seconds later, I began to recognize all the men in the room. There was Mayor Edwin McAllister, whom appears to be Mayor Cardiff City District Economy of Donald J. Sandler, Governor Phil Green, and newspaper editor Harry Gay. They were all discussing for some of a scandal involving a La Nore bootleg copy. "We've got another lid to put on the press," Mayor McAllister said, as he and Donald Sandler replied with, "We can't allow that idiot General Asquith to bring this whole administration down. We can't let somebody talk to Raymond over the Daily Otter." "It's too late," Gay said before continuing with, "The Daily Otter would lose all of its credibility as if we dropped the juicy story now." McAllister poured himself a glass of scotch and turned around to face Green, who was eating cheese-covered shrimp over sauce with the side of the room. "Who is this Asquith?" Green smiled. "And he said he's the chef of the difference in staff. He's practically best buddies with the president. One word will disrupt the corruption we're beginning to Trump when we'll get him his life behind bars." Now Rabe's name was attached to the bootleg as well as of all ours. Donald then carried out in despair. "Can't we just all erase the evidence of this bootleg existing?" Gay asked to Green, who replied with, "We can, but Asquith won't even let this go quietly. He's been a present little piece of crap." "We can't let Richie leave town?" Sandler asked. "He's already been taken care of," Green said evilly as the Narcot's apartment Archie commenter appeared on screen. "Good evening, Governor. Mayor Gaster, I presume." McAllister Evan, who looked at it rather smelly. "Who is this guy, and what does he want?" Alster said angrily. It was so loud that it could have caused another crap in the trash can for the third time in a row for me. "Well, you know what they say. There is magic number. No, it's not. Yes, it is." "Oh, I think the orders regarding Richie could be overlooked, Mayor. He's been taken care of off by Jorkasa Foch," Commander explained before continuing with, "I have a story which may introduce Mr. Gay here, and involves the commissions of the London police force who would yet have their beautiful city down. And they have yet again portrayed the Great Britain for the Shadow Reader and his crew insane followers," Commander asked with extra close to McAllister's face at the point of kissing. "Clemester and McAllister? I ship that. Get on with the shads, pads." Clemester then took a sip from McAllister's glass of scotch, and then said it would be all over in the papers by tomorrow, and of course Mr. Mannels and yourselves would be off the hook. Clemester finished with Green asked, "So what do you want in return with Clemester selling out to your bosses?" Also, Sandler was pulling off a really cheesy face as he had shat in his pants due to Green skipping over his cup of hot chocolate with incredibly powerful laxative sips. "I want to place your little Senonite and guarantee that I will become the new commissioner of the London police force." Clementer replied. "That could be arranged," McAllister said as the screen cuts to the start of chapter 5/4. During the chapter, Mike wasn't present as Leon then walked off on his own until he reached the Pangolin removal chair. Leon got on the Pangolin himself and made his way towards the final showdown with Sadler. Sadler then turned into Shrek and ate Leon. "Oh, Mr. Kennedy, you taste like poo. Ooh, donkey." Shrek said as his eyes watered from the pain. Sadler then passed away from the bad case of indigestion. The game then showed the end credits, and it featured a post-credit from the scene of the Banana Man costume, who said, "Come on and eat me." Then it showed a clip of a plastic bag driving into a car ditch. Murray Veal then realized it was a town owned by Bill Murray. I took the disc out and put it back into the case. I was confused, not about the game itself. That was awesome. I was more concerned about the fact that Mayor Cardiff and his associates would appear framing the commissioners for their corrupted deeds. I called around down and to meet up at the park, and I needed to get assistance of his friends at the borough to bring those corrupted sons of guns to justice. When we got to the park, however, I found Drown getting hacked to death by an angry, pissed-off bikers led by a huge, angry, pissed-off biker. Although I was managed to skip the attack by cooking him a lovely, delicious supper of fish and chips. Drown still died from his injuries. When I asked him why he was killed, Hudge over to reveal that he sold drugs to Drown, and of course contacts with the FBI, who informed him about Drown's federal ties. Outraged, I killed Hudge in a fit of rage, along with some of his men. I then made my way back up to Flatjack, and I meant to eat those shoes. Yeah, that's what I meant. The following day, I made my way back to school as normal, and I was called out to the office by the head teacher, Dr. Crabblesnitch, who said, "So boy, this little birdie tells me you saw an angry 7 pissed-off bikers in the park yesterday. It's not my fault, sir. I was only doing it because they killed my friend Glancy." Of course, Crabblesnitch cut me off by saying, "Glancy? Who is it, as in Glancy Drown?" I nodded my head violently like a frothing chicken, which Ed had a real hard on for Crabblesnitch, as he did a massive facepalm before saying, "Not so, you stupid bit piece of garbage. Glancy was working for the feds. He ratted out several good people like Granny Drayden, and even Johnny Hardnuts over the rest of the sold to him." "So he was really working for the FBI?" I asked, dumbfounded. Yes, he has been working for them for months. Told the crazy stories about the Prime Minister being involved in a lost episode and video game creating. What a piece of crap, right? He deserved to be killed by the Hudge and those boys. Crabblesnitch then proceeded to shake his hand before saying, "Well, boy, for killing Hudge and his boys, even though they were angry, pissed-off bikers, you're expelled for a month." I made my way to attempt to no argue. Instead, I was confronted by Fatchett and his house, and of course it was more like a mansion. "Wreck-It Ralph's Fatchett's personal assistant Nettie proclaimed. "Not so," Fatchett began, while pouring me a cup of steaming hot tea. "I understand that you killed Hutch and his biker boys." "Yeah, so," I asked, which of course caused Fatchett to say, "Start making out with me very aggressively. Good work. That's what you have to do now. Proof that Hudge and his men were working for Rab Mannels. We have our suspicions about it for a couple months now, but they just can't cut down their throat by murdering down and being innocent format. So give me that game to the evidence," I asked. Yes, but Glancy's getting killed. Was that part of the plan?" "He was a good guy, but he stank his life like cheese and wheat. As with Glancy died, all the fields will be going back to Mannels with his associates. Hopefully, they can bring him to justice," Fatchett explained. "I'm sorry, what was that?" Needley asked, as he was busy having a phone call with Rarity, as always. Then I proceeded to ask Mayor McAllister about his connection to Mannels and Hudge. Fatchett then proceeded to explain while eating 5,000 roast dinners, 800 bowls of ice cream that McAllister, along with Sandler, had the rest of the people in the video planned for Sunday, known as Raby Mannels, crime assassinated. Shadow Reader then had reportedly sent a mole to infiltrate into the organization, but they were still unsure of who he sent. "My money is on Skyrunner for being the mole, and he's always had a love for Wii Sports," Fatchett explained while showing his several 90-foot kegs of Moe's beer. Here, as violently as I sipped my tea, the man walked into the mansion with another otter plush on his shoulder. It was the Shadow Reader, Skyrunner, and the Random Fiend stood behind them confidently. "So do tell me what's going on of my trailer," Shadow said. "Oh, you lost it because of your copy. I got caught off as Shadow Reader began beating me violently with a stick covered in poo and spikes." "No!" Shadow proclaimed before saying it. "I lost it because Rabbit Mannels took it away from me." Skyrunner said before saying, "Hey Shads, don't be mad at him. Glad he just got a 100% confirmation that Hudge was indeed working for Mannels." "So?" Shadow random fiend asked before continuing with, our investigation got Glancy killed and got these fiends breathing down our necks. Be patient, fiend. In the next 6 months, we'll be drinking wine and eating pie in the sky with Goofy and his son Max, while Pete makes his love in the hot tub with Bobby the cheesy cheese dog. Shadow explained. Wreck-It Ralph! Neddy proclaimed again while Winston chatting to Rarity on the phone. I ducking hate Rarity, Shadow said before picking up Neddy in his arms and proceed to throw him out of the window. Oh my Shigo, Shadow, you just killed him, Skyrunner called as they're running over to the now broken window. Don't worry, Skyrunner, I merely knocked him down. Rarity doesn't even deserve to have anyone call her. Meanwhile, at the My Little Pony universe, Rarity cried because no one liked her, and then a nuke got dropped on her in Canterlot Boutique, and she died instantly from the explosive impact. So that concludes our little tale. As I finished writing this down in the living room of Fetchy's mansion, I was beginning to wonder maybe somehow in Shadow's organization is working for Manals and his boys, like Glancy appeared here with a low-level aspiring gangster. But right now he's in reality working for the FBI, perhaps Skyrunner or Random Fiend, or even perhaps Fatchett is working for the Manals. Giving him information like that has already been upper hand. As I finish writing this down, I just have one thing to say, is to never vert the NES Classic thanks to reading. I just hope the Manals in the feeds calm themselves down, and the real fun can begin. And that, my little pretties, was Resident Evil 4 Cursed Copy, a Resident Evil 4 funny pasta written by Matthew Bumford. Matthew Bumford, I want to thank you so much for the story. This was obviously really cool, and I actually really liked it. So, my final thoughts on this story? Okay, first of all, I'd like to say, why I'm not laughing as I normally would do in Matthew Bumford stories. They usually make me laugh. I had a really bad day, people. I just had a lot of crap going on right now. It's just been really nice. I'd say crap. I almost said the S word. I just have too much crap going on with me, and I'm just sick and tired of it. And it's just mainly the issues that are going on in my house. It's not having to do with YouTube or anything like that. It mainly had to do with, what's going on with my household, which I may make a separate video explaining about that. Okay, this story. I actually liked it. This story was actually one of the funniest and weirdest ones yet. When I did see this, back, I think last year or something, before I narrated this like I am right now, I actually liked this story. This story actually was a really interesting concept. Despite the video game, having, some weird stuff going on while the protagonist is playing, I obviously really could find that believable. I know it's a funny pasta and it's not intent to make a whole lot of sense, but I could still really see, maybe, if Capcom were to make, something like this, I think they might get a little backlash for it. Like, I'm just saying they might get backlash if they, mess up the game in many ways that I can count, but I can definitely say that this one was actually really well done, and that is a very most important thing when it comes to that. And I'm really going to be completely honest. There's a lot of great concept to it when it comes to that. I actually really enjoyed the story being really cool, and there was definitely a lot of time and effort into the story, and I definitely say right now there is a lot of time and effort into the story, which is a very good thing. The very good thing I could definitely say was that the concept itself was really, really well done, and that's the very most important thing about this story, is that there's a lot of time and effort into the story, and that is a very, very good important thing when it comes to that. Like, I really, really like that. Why? Okay, I'm gonna be honest, is that this story, I obviously found the concept to be good, the grammar was good, storyline, everything about it was flat out amazing, I have to say. There's definitely lots of time and effort into the story, and that is a very good thing when it comes to that. It's a very good thing when it comes to making a concept like this. Like, this is why it's a really good idea to sit there and do, put time and effort into a story. I could definitely say that there was a lot of time and effort into it. There was definitely a lot of effort in the story. I really do like it. It was really, really well done. This is on Goshia Wiki, if you guys are wondering. And if you guys want to read it, feel free to read it. It's actually really good. I'm definitely going to be completely honest. Okay. I guess I'm kind of, I'm going to wrap up the review because I kind of explained everything. There's not really much else to say. Okay. This is simply my own personal opinion. And this is, if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, or funny pastas in this case. And this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to be a 10 out of 10. Great creepypasta, great concept, great everything about it. There was definitely a lot of time and effort into it, and I definitely really hope that I get another Resident Evil pasta. Maybe one with Resident Evil 5 or something. I would really like to see more Resident Evil creepypastas, because I can't seem to find any good ones. I did find maybe a few of them in the past, but I think they got deleted because I think the grammar was bad in one of those or something, or it was cliched. I don't know. But I was really wanting to know much more about, the concept of the story. And this is actually a very good thing when it comes to that. And I really do glad that this story really came out and it existed. That's a very good thing when it comes to that. Okay. Anyways, what did you think about this creepypasta? You all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so you guys won't miss an upload. Like always, I'm going to roll the outro because I'm out of here. And I will be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out and see you all later.